Hello and welcome to this video from Support Cambridgeshire, a partnership of Cambridge CVS and Hunts Forum. This is one of several short videos we've developed to help people set up their own community group. We have made this video for people who are considering setting up a charity to benefit others in their local community. This session considers which governing structure you might choose. Alongside these videos, you will find links to useful information to support you. These are the main legal structures for charities: an unregistered or registered charity, a charitable incorporated organisation, a company limited by guarantee, a trust, or a community benefit society. What your charity wants to do is likely to dictate the structure, but it also links with how much risk your trustees are willing to take, which comes down to whether you need to be incorporated. Incorporated groups have a legal standing similar to a person, which means the group can make legal commitments such as entering into contracts, rather than the trustees as individuals having to make this commitment. This means trustees of incorporated groups are not personally liable for the group's actions. An incorporated structure is most appropriate for groups which intend to trade or raise large sums or enter into legally binding contracts such as employing staff and managing property. If you are likely to start up with an annual income of below £5,000 per annum, the two most popular structures are to set up as an unregistered charity, also known as a charitable association, or as a charitable incorporated organisation. Unlike a registered charity, an unregistered charity is, as the name suggests, not registered with the Charity Commission because its income is below £5,000 per annum. However, both registered and unregistered charities will be run by a group of trustees, are unincorporated, so trustees are personally responsible for any of the charity's financial and legal obligations, and are required to comply with Charity Commission rules. However, unregistered charities do not need to send in a report of their activities or accounts to the Charity Commission. To set up as an unregistered charity, all you need to do is to find at least one other person willing to be a trustee and complete and sign a constitution. We would recommend using the Charity Commission template, and the link is in the information associated with this video. You don't need to register your group anyway, you can just get started. If the group's income reaches £5,000 per annum, it will then need to register with the Charity Commission. If this looks like it might happen to your group, get in touch as we can help. The second option is to set up as a charitable incorporated organisation, or CIO, which, as the name suggests, is incorporated. So it exists as a separate legal entity. You can set up from the beginning as a CIO, as there is no minimum income requirement. There are two types of CIO: an association model, which has voting members and trustees, and a foundation model, which does not have voting members and is run by appointed trustees. If you have an annual income of above £5,000, the two most popular options for governance structure are to become a registered charity or a CIO. To apply to become a registered charity or a CIO, you have to meet various legal requirements to prove you are a charity in the eyes of the law, and once you have registered, you have to comply with Charity Commission rules, which includes sending in reports and accounts. The level of reporting depends on the income. However, as you may recall, a registered charity is not incorporated, so the option most groups will go for is to set up as a charitable incorporated organisation, which we discussed on the previous slide. There are other structures you can use to set up as a charity, but they're less frequently used. A charitable company is a limited company registered with Companies House that has charitable aims. Charitable companies are set up using a memorandum and articles of association rather than a constitution. However, once income reaches £5,000 per annum, the company must also register with the Charity Commission and will then need to report to both regulators annually. If you are setting up a committee to manage a particular asset or legacy, you might set up as a charitable trust. and where communities are managing community assets, such as a community shop or community-owned pub, they may choose to become a community benefit society, which is owned and run by members for the benefit of the wider community. If these societies meet charitable criteria, they can call themselves charities. They are registered with the Financial Conduct Authority and not the Charity Commission. They are incorporated and can have paid directors. The links for more information on these options are in our information pack shown alongside this video. This chart summarises what I've just outlined, showing which charity structure is incorporated, which means the name and therefore the liability on any contracts is the charities and not the trustees. The chart also highlights who the legal regulator is for each legal structure. Another consideration in your choice of structure is how you expect to fund your activities. If you anticipate your funding coming from small donations or grants, then your trustees may feel that their level of liability is acceptable and they're happy to work within an unincorporated structure. But once your organisation starts entering into contracts with grant funders or commissioners for larger amounts or engages in the sale of goods or services in a more major way, the financial risks increase, and trustees are more likely to want an incorporated structure to limit their liability. Some charities are run as social enterprises, which means that rather than seeking donations and grants, they obtain their funding by offering goods or services to consumers or commissioners. A social enterprise is not a legal structure in its own right. It describes a business that is driven by social objectives rather than profit. A charity can be set up to act as a social enterprise, but it is limited by charity law. So, for example, if your charity is set up to advance education, you can only sell services connected to education. Social enterprises can also be set up as social businesses. These do not have to follow charity law. One form a social business might take is as a community interest company, or CIC, or you might hear it called a KIC. These straddle the boundary between charity and business, ploughing significant parts of any profit back to support social aims, but still being able to offer dividends to private investors. There are links to this topic in the information you'll find alongside this video. We hope you found this video helpful, and if you would like to contact us, please do so on info@supportcambridgeshire.org.uk.